This is a great tip. I'm going to be making a canapé later where I want this quick pickled cucumber. So I've got a piece of cucumber and I'm cutting so that I avoid the seeds. So you can see I'm cutting squarely around it and leaving the seeds behind because I don't really need those. So this is what's referred to as the freeze and thaw cycle for making a quick pickle. I originally got the idea from a Raymond Blanc recipe where he does exactly this. And then obviously I asked myself the question, why? What does it bring to the table? By salting it before you freeze it, that's going to help draw out moisture. The freezing part of it ruptures the cells, and then when you defrost it, the liquid that comes out, which is water, is also lovely and salty and full of flavour and can become part of your pickling liquor. But it also means that there is better penetration. And I'm cutting a cucumber. Better penetration of flavour, so it is absolutely ideal for a quick pickle. So when I did the restaurant, I used to actually have quite a lot of these in the freezer ready as a garnish. So you can see I'm cubing them. Cube them any size that you want. So on a tray with a thing on it, a silicone thing, or you can use baking paper, generously salt them. Make sure they're all coated, spread them out, and just put them uncovered like that in the freezer. I took these out of the freezer. I've defrosted them. It's only a tiny amount because that's all I need. The pickle, for the pickling liquor, it's a ratio of 2 to 1. 2 parts vinegar to 1 part water. So I can see I've got about half a teaspoon of water in the bottom. So I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of the white condiment, which is basically a white balsamic. You could use, it's nice with a bit of sweetness. You could actually also use sushi rice vinegar. Sushi rice vinegar is, it's got sugar and salt added to it. So I'm just going to give that a quick whisk. I'm going to put a little bit of white pepper in. Then I'm going to drop my cucumber in there. And now that can just be set aside until you're ready. I don't know if you can see also, it's just such a pretty green. Taste one. Lovely. Little crunch, pop of sweetness, pop of sourness. I'll show you how we're going to use them in my next film. It's 170 grams. I've got equal parts salt and sugar. So I'm just using a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar. And I'm putting in some dill, the zest of half a lemon. And I'm putting in a grating of white pepper. I just want that little bit of extra heat that you get from white pepper. Oh, a very important point. In order to, so this dish is obviously a raw dish, regardless of the quality of the fish that I am buying. If I am serving it raw, I always freeze it first. So this has been frozen and now defrosted, and now I'm just going to sprinkle this all over. I'm going to make a foil parcel, set a timer because you want to put it in the fridge for 12 hours. After 12 hours, we'll rinse it. I'm now going to make the dressing that we will mix the salmon into. Just a note on the salmon, trout is slightly cheaper, so by all means use trout. I've got some extremely finely chopped shallot. I'm going to put in a little bit of Dijon. I'm only making this for 2, so it's not huge quantities. I'm going to do a little squeeze of lemon juice. And lastly, just a little pinch of cayenne pepper. And that can go in the fridge until we're ready to dress the salmon. The next thing I'm going to make is one of the garnishes. So I'm taking, we really won't need a lot for this, some creme fraiche, half the amount of creme fraiche of horseradish. So that was, let's call that a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of horseradish cream. I want another little squeeze of lemon. Another tiny bit of Dijon. I'm going to put a sprinkle of Maldon sea salt in and a grind of pepper. I keep odd bits of plastic bags and what I've done here is I've just cut the corner off to use it as a piping bag, and put your horseradish cream into the piping bag and save that till later. I always do this with piping bags. Save that for later in the fridge. As these are smaller pieces, I only cured these for in fact 8 hours. I have rinsed off all of the salt and sugar, and I'm actually going to cover this up, and I will come back to this job tomorrow because it's dark outside now and I'm tired. Cube the salmon, everything made in advance, and then just put them together. We've got the sauce that we made. Add that to the salmon and coat it completely. I'm going to show you how to turn this into a spectacularly beautiful starter, and it's great because it's light. So we're going to put some salmon in the bottom of a chef's ring. You will need a chef's ring. This quantity I made was for 2. Press it down. Now let's dress it. I always go for odd numbers. So this is going to have 5 pieces of cucumber on it. Going to put some dill sitting on each piece of cucumber. A little dollop of lumpfish caviar would be nice in there, but frankly, I wasn't going to go out and buy it just for this. Then a little squeeze of that horseradish cream between the cucumber, pieces of cucumber. Maybe a little extra bit in the middle. A nice grind of black pepper. And then, hang on, I've got to go out to the garden. Luckily, violas seem to grow all year round. I am putting, and they're edible. And that is the most beautiful, beautiful little starter. So you want to put a little bit of salmon on a spoon. 1 or 2 pieces of cucumber. I'm going to put a little frond of dill. Just chop the end off your piping bag and do a tiny little squirt of the horseradish cream. I just want you to see how beautiful that is. You could put lumpfish caviar on it, which will give a nice contrast. And I am going to put a little grind of black pepper. How chuffed would you be to be served that